welcome to the third episode of the HistoryHole podcast, and today we are talking about World War I and World War II obscurities, oddities, all the things forgotten and buried in history. I'm tired. Dominic's not. Adam is. So bear with us, and we will try to deliver good something today.
I'm tired.
No, you're not, Dominic. You're not allowed to be tired. Okay. We're going to start off with a shoe, or I think Adam has a whole bunch of facts. So I think we read some World War I facts to start off and kind of just do them rapid fire.
Alright.
Alright, so Adam, once you read one, pass it over, I'll read one, Dominic reads one, Dominic pass it to Adam, you know?
Yeah.
Got it. Alright.
During the start of World War I, tanks were grouped according to their gender. Male tanks had cannons attached while females carried machine guns.
Dominic carries a machine gun. Okay.
I carry a massive...
During World War I, there were miners that would dig trenches to plant and detonate mines there. Those detonations destroyed a lot of German front lines that were so great they could be heard by the Prime Minister in London 140 miles away. Many young men faked their age and... Oh, that's Dominic's.
Wait, miners or miners?
Dominic?
I'm just asking, miners or
Like, think
miners?
Clash Royale miners. Not preschool. Okay.
Many young men faked their age. Many young men faked their age in order to sign up early. The youngest to do so was Sidney Lewis, who was only 12 years old. How do you miss a 12-year-old? Like, I feel like that would be pretty obvious.
Woodrow Wilson ran his campaign for a second presidential term with an anti-war slogan.
And his second presidential campaign, was that before World War One?
No clue.
No clue.
It's time for the history sheet.
It's probably during it because it's like they didn't join World War One until like late. Because World War One had already started and they didn't get in.
Yeah,
They didn't get into it until the Germans sink the ship.
I think he
I
got
thought it
pressured
was the
by
telegram.
Dominic. Pick up your shoe and stop talking. There was multiple reasons.
The history sheet.
This week it's Dominic's shoe.
So
he's
who
gonna
wants
be
to
the
draw
only
out
one
my
reaching in
clean
there.
sheet?
Yeah, we're not reaching in that shoe. Exactly why. Dominic, pull it out. You get the facts about World War One, just throw it away.
I got the Attack of the Dead Men from World War One.
Okay, that's yours, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody get ready to hear Dominic? Yeah.
Shut up.
Throw away the paper.
All right, so the Attack of the Dead Men was against Russian and German forces in like 1918 or something like that, sometime around that time, at the Oswick Fortress. I'm pretty sure somewhere in now Poland, and over 12 battalions of Germans. Oh,
Gleeked on him.
oh, oh, dude! Oh, God!
Dominic, just keep reading, bro.
Made an advance after a bombardment of gas and, artillery, expecting there was going to be no resistance. And, they were met by, like, about 100 men who were all, like, gassed out, coughing up their own lungs and stuff, like, all gory and stuff.
Typical.
Typical Friday.
Dominic, at least.
Yeah.
And, they somehow managed to scare the Germans so badly that the Germans started retreating, tripping over their own barbed wire and somehow dying from that.
Well,
So yeah, the Russians won that, and most of the people ended up dying from their injuries. Most of the Russians.
wow.
What?
That was very moving. That was emotional.
Leaked on me, bro.
Yeah.
Maybe you deserved it.
You deserve it, because that was kind of not interesting.
Yeah. Crap,
But,
Dominic.
yeah, Dominic. Get out of here.
You probably
Get up.
bathed yourself
No.
with Lysol wipes.
Okay. Pick out the next one.
Let's see. Weird facts about.
Yeah, throw it away. Was it World War One or World War Two? World War Two, buddy. Adam. It's World War Two now.
Alright.
Not World War One, Dominic. Sorry, he doesn't pay attention, everybody.
Little known facts about World War II. Something crazy about the Japanese is that their last soldier actually surrendered 30 years after the war. The soldier, Terry Nakamura, was an indigenous Taiwanese soldier that joined the Japanese military at the beginning of World War II. He and his unit throughout the war was still. Oh my God, I wrote this really wrong, but
Yeah, you're good.
he and his unit thought the war was still going on, and he survived. And he was found on an island, I think, in December 1974. In World War II was one of the first wars to use a lot of aviation, and there was a massive rush to train new pilots. So programs weren't very good because of that. Over 15,000 people died during training. Of course, most of these deaths were pilot error or mechanical failure. Another cool thing is that 52,000 American flight crew members died in World War II, so that means almost 30% of pilot deaths were actually out of war fighting. And then Heinrich Himmler was one of Hitler's first supporters, becoming the head of SS something, and eventually being put in charge of Army Group Vistula, a group of 500,000 soldiers that were assigned to protect Berlin. Unfortunately, this task was far too much for Himmler, who required daily naps and massages, and only worked a few hours a day. Eventually, Army Group Vistula was overrun and Himmler abandoned his post. He fled to something sanatorium spa to deal with his stress and even tried to negotiate a peace treaty with the advancing Allied forces.
I've never heard. So that guy, what was his name?
Heinrich Himmler.
And he was one of Hitler's first supporters.
Yeah.
So, like, after Hitler didn't get into art school.
Yeah, I guess. Let me look up what this SS thing is. It's got some like weird name, but
SS Scootstoffel.
Scootstoffel.
Sounds like a sausage.
Does.
And then that guy, Japanese guy that didn't, Dominic, the Japanese guy that didn't surrender until like, when? I don't know, but
December 1974.
yeah, 1974. I've heard of that.
Yeah.
I think Dominic has too.
Okay.
No, you haven't.
Hold on. The Stutze whatever. It was a major paramilitary organization under Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party in Nazi Germany, and later throughout German-occupied Europe during World War II. It began with a small guard unit known as the South Schutz, made up of a party of volunteers to provide security for party meetings in Munich. So
what is a paramilitary? Is that like disabled veterans?
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
I don't know.
Well, if it is, that's really interesting because they did not like disabled people. The Nazis didn't.
You're right, because they would gas them.
Yeah, they were
Shoot.
fine with wounded soldiers.
paramilitary, an organized force but may not represent any particular nation state or be under
Okay,
their
so
control.
basically a PMC.
So like a mercenary army.
PMC.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty interesting. I mean, Hitler was pretty harsh, and to work for him and be lazy and stuff, I just don't know how he even was able to flee to
Yeah.
the spa that he apparently went to.
Maybe they were friends or something.
Yeah.
Let's say it was one of the first. Dominic, shoot! That shoe's gonna end up getting thrown at you by the end of the episode, probably.
Oh,
That was really funny.
Hmm.
Okay.
German American internment camp
Oh, that's mine. Internment Camp
orchestra.
Orchestra. Found this one very interesting.
Guys want 'em?
Y'all probably won't. Dominic! Told you he wasn't tired. Okay. German American Internment Camp Orchestra. In the German American Internment Camp, Fort Oglethorpe, which is actually where it's actually a couple miles away from where we are at right now, lived 29 members of the Boston Orchestra,
Or just
including Carl Muck, the director of the group, who put together a show that they performed in the camp. One audience member said it was a memorable concert in the mess hall packed with 2,000 internees, with honored guests such as the doctors and government censors on the front benches facing 100 musicians. He also said, under Muck's baton, the Eroka, it's Eroica rushed at us and carried us far away and above war, worry, and barbed wire. I don't remember Dominic. I don't remember who wrote or composed Eroica, but it was someone famous. It might have been Beethoven. But so pretty much these guys were like an orchestra that were a whole bunch of them were German. And so during the war, when all the Germans got put in internment camps like the Japanese did during World War II, they formed an orchestra. And it said there were 100 members, but only 29 members of an actual orchestra, so there must have been other people that played instruments. See, I knew it was going to be pretty boring to y'all.
Alright, is it shoot time?
It's shoot time, I guess.
Attack of the Dead Men again.
Why is it twice?
I don't know. You heard it twice?
You're the one that did it, not me. Stop throwing stuff at Adam. What did he do to you? He did not do anything to you.
He threw a shoe at me.
That
Forgive
was,
him.
that
Weird
was
facts about World War One. Okay.
weeks ago,
Throw it away.
pal.
Christmas Truce of World War One. That's Adam.
Yeah. All right. I'm sure a lot of people know about this. In 1914, during Christmas, the British and German troops decided to halt their fighting for Christmas. A group of troops for the British on Christmas Eve walked upon German troops singing songs and saw lanterns and fir trees along their trenches. The day of Christmas, the British and German soldiers actually met in the no man's land and exchanged gifts, took photographs, and actually managed to play a game of soccer. And the no man's land was like the area between the trenches, and during World War One there was a lot of trench warfare. So going in there was like dead bodies and all kinds of crap.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool that they managed to play a game of soccer there. But during this day, they also took time to bury the dead and repair the trenches. Besides this war halt, fighting continued in other areas and many other people died. And some war officers got upset from the halt and thought that it would ruin some fighting spirit.
I mean, I just kind of think it's interesting that, like, even though these people, like, are, conditioned to hate each other because, it's war,
Mhm.
like, they would still, not fight on a holiday like this and just, have fun,
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't
betray.
betray during it and just start killing them.
I don't really think that those nations hated each other. Like, half of the people that were in those armies didn't even believe what those armies believed. I mean,
Yeah.
of course, most Americans that were fighting believed in freedom, but then, like, the Nazis, I wouldn't say all of them had the same ideals as Hitler. They kind of just fought so that they wouldn't die. And their families wouldn't die. So, but it's also no man's land was probably really not flat and not grassy, so it'd probably be a really hard place to play soccer.
Yeah.
Or they would have called it football. Cool.
I also think that during World War One, a lot of since it was really just based on who you were allied with the most, you were on that side,
Yeah.
and then you just had to fight. Because during World War One, their allies were everyone that you didn't know of. So
Yeah. Dominic, did you just draw one without my
Yes. correct.
approval?
And it's yours. It's the Ghost Army.
The Ghost Army. This one actually is quite interesting.
You said that last time.
Shut up, Dominic. At least I didn't talk about
No.
guys coughing up their lungs.
No. don't do
Dog.
Okay.
bro, how do you have hair in your shoe?
it. I have hairy feet.
Okay.
No, Adam.
You don't wear socks.
Put
I
the
do.
shoe down. Okay. The Ghost Army. The 23rd Headquarters Special Troops, aka the Ghost Army, was the first tactical deception unit in the Army. It consisted of 82 officers and 123,000 men. No, I'm saying that wrong. 1,023 men. I don't know. They could simulate 30,000 men using visual, sonic, and radio deception. They had nothing larger than a 50 caliber machine gun, but they decepted the Axis powers 22 times during the war. They had the highest IQ out of any division in the military. So most of these guys they were the top of their class in West Point. They went to good colleges, and they were drafted into this division because of their IQ and because of their brains over their fighting abilities. Okay, they used, this part's very interesting. They used inflatable tanks that weighed around 90 pounds and similar trucks. The unit's soldiers were sworn to secrecy after the war, and the information wasn't public until the 1980s, though it was officially unclassified in the mid 1990s. And never mind, that's a link. Okay, so pretty much these people, these very smart soldiers that worked in the that were in the Ghost Army or the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops, didn't fight at all. I mean, they probably did a little bit because they did have guns, as it said, but not like huge tanks or anything. They had fake tanks and fake trucks.
Nerf guns.
Yeah, pretty much it's like guys going out there with Nerf guns. But they would set up and they would use like fake radar signals to make and fake sounds and all the fake stuff, put up a bunch of tents, I don't know, and they would make the Germans and everybody else, they would make them think that there was a giant army just sitting there, and so they would move, like, say the Axis powers were coming from this way, they would set up here, and if they needed them to go that way, then they would kind of force them to go that way.
Oh yeah.
By just decepting them.
I'm pretty sure before the Normandy invasion, they actually set up a huge play army on the coast of England, not where they were going to invade. So the Axis would set up mostly there.
There, yeah, makes sense. But I don't think it was them necessarily, because they didn't have many fatalities in this. And then another big thing is these people weren't even allowed to tell people that they were in a special division in the war. Like they pretty much just had to tell them that they were soldiers, not in. So, they weren't honored properly until the 1980s, 1990s. All right. Next one.
I'm pretty sure it's pronounced like Wojtek or something like that. I'm not Polish. If
Wojtek
anyone
Bear.
is Polish, don't crucify me.
Said every episode. Which,
Oh,
it's been a while since we've had an episode, and that's Dominic's fault.
No, it's entirely his fault.
Everybody believes you, Dominic. Okay.
So yeah, this was during World War II, 1942. He lived from 1942 to 1963, and he was a Syrian brown bear brought as a young cub at a railway station in Hamadan. I don't know where that is. By a Polish group of soldiers who had been evacuated from the Soviet Union, and he had problems swallowing, so they fed him, condensed milk and other stuff like that. Okay, condensed milk from an old vodka bottle.
Dominic has no problem swallowing. Continue.
Anyways,
Okay, pal.
so he would smoke. Well, he wouldn't smoke, but he would eat cigarettes and drinking coffee. They would drink coffee, or he would drink coffee, and he would cuddle with the other soldiers, like a normal pet does. He would lay with them.
Dominic,
What?
you're setting yourself up. Dominic would cuddle with the other soldiers, everybody. He had no problem swallowing, and he cuddled with the other soldiers.
That reminds me of the cocaine.
Yeah, he would. I'm setting myself up.
Say it.
He would wrestle with other soldiers.
Just continue.
And he would salute whenever he was greeted. He got taught that.
Wait, so what salute would he do?
Probably this one. Or whichever one the Polish used. I'm not sure if they used, this or certain other one. Or
Dominic.
but he eventually became an attraction for everyone. Soldiers, civilians, and became an unofficial mascot to the Polish army, basically. And he went through Iraq, Syria, Palestine, and Egypt. And eventually he was retired to a zoo where he was visited almost daily until he died.
Sounds like the bear on the tricycle in Madagascar. Talk about
Yes.
Dominic, that might be your great grandpa.
No, I don't enjoy wrestling.
Dominic is related to Wojtek the bear, except he didn't inherit his swallowing disability. Okay, Dominic,
Odd weapons.
that's yours again. This one is long, and don't make it too long.
So the Krummlauf was a German, with English translation is curved barrel. It was a barrel attachment for the STD 44.
CD.
The STD 44.
He just likes saying STD.
Okay.
So it was pretty much so you could shoot around corners and up around trenches and stuff.
Yeah.
So they didn't have to peek. And another one during World War One, the Krummlauf was World War Two, and we're missing a piece of paper. I didn't talk about something.
Are we out?
Yeah,
It's fine.
we're missing a piece.
You can just read it after you read this one,
But the
okay?
gauntlet dagger, which was used in close quarters combat, was like a gauntlet you put on your hand, and it had like a dagger on the end, kind of like that. Yeah, great.
Yep.
And the Brewster body shield, it could stop a machine gun bullet. It was like a huge piece of armor that you just put on yourself. And this was kind of like the Ghost Army. What are they called? The 44th?
The 23rd Headquarters
23rd?
Special Troops.
They had cutout soldiers designed to lead. This was World War I. Designed to mislead the enemies, and they were just cardboard cutouts.
Yeah.
And the Haut auto rifle, and he got the idea of using thousands of Ross bolt action rifles that have been taken out of service and converted them into bolt action automatic rifles fed by a 25 drum firing of the British 303 cartridge, and it could shoot at 475 rounds per minute, which was a lot for that time. But emptying the magazine was. It was awkward to carry and easy to change a magazine. It took 4 seconds to change a single mag. And here's like 3 more.
3 more. Go.
This one isn't really a weird weapon. It's kind of known, but I think it's kind of a weird weapon. It's the Browning automatic rifle or BAR, which was a an assault rifle. Machine gun made it near the end of World War II, World War One, where it was chambered in 30. It is chambered on 30-06, and it uses a 20 round mag at 650 rounds per minute, which I think it's weird because it's a 20 round instead of something bigger for a machine gun because it's a machine gun.
Yeah.
But there's also rat bombs, which were rat carcasses filled with plastic explosives, and they were distributed near German boiler rooms where they would be disposed of by burning, causing an explosion, potentially blowing up the boiler. And this one's kind of sad. The bomb dogs were by, I'm pretty sure, the Russians, where they would carry the bomb. Why am I saying this is so sad?
Because you're Dominic's Dominic.
No.
The bomb.
So a dog would carry a bomb on its body and go up to a tank, and they would release the bomb by pulling something with its teeth, and then returning to the operator. Then it would be detonated by a timer or remote control. But most of the time, they would just use a timer because remote controls were rare. And a group of dogs practiced for 6 months. They couldn't master it, but they did okay. But what happened was sometimes they wouldn't release the bomb, and they would just run back with the bomb and blow both of them up.
Cool.
Oh, and whenever I heard a story about this, they would go, or what they would do is whenever they would be released, they would run back towards the Russian tanks or the tanks that released them, because that's the tanks that they practiced on, and they thought those were just what they were supposed to go to. Anyways, I think it's the last thing.
No, I got one more.
Okay.
You go. This looks interesting.
All right. So my last thing is Gandhi's message to Hitler. Something funny about Gandhi's message is that he starts off both messages by saying, "Dear friend," and he sent 2 letters to Hitler, one in 1939 and one in 1940. And his first message talks about the people wanting him to send that message to maybe get him to not start the war. The second message talks about him addressing him as a friend, and it's no formality, and how Gandhi has no foes. He also talks about the world's views on him and how they do believe he has an extreme devotion to his country. Also, the They don't believe the descriptions of him being a monster. In this letter, Gandhi is basically just trying to calm him down so that he doesn't cause any more havoc than what he already has. And then something else is that Hitler never even read these messages.
Mm.
Of course he didn't.
Or just left him on red.
Dominic.
Or left him
Yeah,
on
it's fine. That's actually quite expected, honestly. I mean, you never think about it, but Gandhi was alive during this time, and he was very smart and very respected. Probably did not share the same views as Hitler, and that's probably why Hitler did not read them or didn't tell anybody he read them, or told someone not to tell anybody he read them.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm pretty sure this is the last one now. It's Fanta was actually made by the Nazis, or by a Nazi collaborator. So Fanta was actually no, never mind, no, it wasn't made by Nazi collaborators. But Coca-Cola owns Fanta, and they made Fanta. But they made it because they wanted to profit off of the Germans. But the thing is, Germans hate Hitler hated America and everything patriotic. So he banned Coca-Cola, and some guy got the idea of using like peelings of fruits to sweeten his drink because sugar was rationed.
Mhm.
And the Germans tried the drink, thought it was really good. They gave him some sugar, and every time that a Coca-Cola factory was captured by the Germans, they would turn it into a Fanta factory. And okay, I'm gonna read this straight from the paper. The drink was technically fruit flavored, but limited wartime resources made that descriptor not wholly accurate. Its ingredients were less than appetizing. Leftover apple fibers mashed from cider presses and whey, a cheese byproduct. Fanta was made from leftovers of the leftovers, says Mark Pendergrass, who was the author of For God, Country, and Coca-Cola. Revealed this hidden past. I don't imagine it tasted very good. And the man who made Coca-Cola, something Keith, was not a member of the Nazi party. His allegiance was to Coca-Cola, not Hitler. I just thought that was a funny quote, so I put it in there.
Same.
Dominic, I think you're a funny quote.
My allegiance is to Dominic.